Hi, everyone, and welcome to Marketing Automation Made Simple. My name is Jovana, and I'm the founder of bumperleads.com. We are a marketing automation agency that works with small business owners to simplify and automate their sales and marketing systems to save them time and money and also help them grow faster. Now, today, what I really want to talk to you about, we are in the new year in 2024, and one of the key things that we do in our agency is review everything that we must review in marketing automation for this year. And we thought we'd do an episode together, Milena and I. Milena is joining me as well, where we can discuss all the things that we would check in order to ensure that our 2024 is running as it should. So we have been talking about different things, and there is one thing that I recorded an episode just last year, and it's coming very soon, needs to be implemented and changed. And we just want to make sure that we remind our listeners about the massive changes that are happening to the email marketing space. But the other things that we also wanted to cover, really, there's going to be 4 things that we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about those email changes that I just mentioned. We're going to be talking about customer journeys, and we're going to be talking about some different trends that are happening in marketing automation, and what things you should be doing in your business to make sure you're on trend as well. So Milena, can you tell us more about what is happening in the email marketing space that small businesses need to be aware of?
Yeah, that's a good way to start. It's kind of a big one. There's a huge email update happening, something that's been initiated by Yahoo and Google. All of the email service providers will now need to update their domain protocols that the acronyms you've probably heard of are DKIM and DMARC, and these stand for domain keys identified mail for DKIM. So normally we speak in these acronym terms when we refer to these protocols. And the DMARC is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. So it's kind of a long one, but all you have to remember if you're using Klaviyo or ActiveCampaign, you now need to go and update your, at a domain level, you need to update these protocols so that your emails will always hit that inbox. Every time you send an email to your list, you are going to avoid ending up in spam, in the spam folder. So it's one way to kind of ensure that your emails are landing where they should be. Another thing why this is so important is because these protocols are going to protect your domain reputation. So you are going to be in charge of managing your sender domain, whereas before it was ActiveCampaign and Klaviyo were doing that. You were sending emails, and it was always showing like the emails were sent on behalf of ActiveCampaign servers or Klaviyo servers, but now it's actually going to come straight from your domain. So this change is quite important. You should have received some notifications about this from Klaviyo or Yahoo. From Klaviyo or ActiveCampaign, I should say. And they normally have really clear steps on what you should do to go and how to actually update these settings. We did a post on this on Instagram. If you have a couple of minutes to spare, you can jump onto Instagram and just follow our steps on how you can change these DKIM and DMARC settings. And if you do get confused on what these things are, you just contact your domain provider. So the company where you purchase your domain from, like your GoDaddy or Crazy Domains, you can reach out to them and they can also assist you as well. But we have to stress that this year, for 2024, this is really important. If you have a brand, if you have a mailing list and you're sending bulk emails, it's really important that you actually do this step because it may impact your revenues in the end. Every time you send an email, you want to make sure that it hits the inbox and, people can read and click and open emails. Isn't that correct, Jovana?
Yes, very true. And I know you mentioned ActiveCampaign and Klaviyo, but this is true for every other platform. So whatever you're using to send marketing communication, you just have to be mindful that your email settings are all firing as they should. So Then in terms of the second point that we wanted to bring up and what we normally review and what we've seen from just as customers from our perspective from other stores and businesses, number one thing that we don't see a lot of businesses do is review their customer journeys and how the customer is moved from a lead to a customer. So how do we manage and how do we nurture these leads and customers? And as I mentioned in my previous episodes, really simple to look at this is if you pick one ideal customer, one person, give them a name that you love to work with, what type of actions do they take before they make a purchase? And what type of actions do they not take before they make a purchase? We need to understand those behaviors and things that these customers are doing in your business before they become a customer. And then when they become a customer, how do we want to nurture them so that we keep getting them as a customer again, coming back to buy from us, not just once, but many times over. Now, we have, why we are reviewing this is because, again, technology, if you have implemented things in the past using your CRM, things have changed. As you can see, 2023 was a bit of a crazy tech update year. There is a lot of things happening. AI has just come in and overtaken a lot of technology is now almost introducing AI into everything we do. And so what does that mean from a customer perspective? So customers are aware of AI and customers are aware of some of the features that we see happening in the tech space. However, is your technology and what you set up last year or 2 years ago, 5 years ago, still firing as it should, as it's expected by your customers?
I think one example I was going to just add on to that point when you said, how does your customer come into your world, is you can do a test of pretend that you're a customer on your store. And what is that experience that you're getting? That's the same experience that your future customer is experiencing as well.
Yes, test your own process. If you don't have an online shop, you might have an inquiry form on your website. You might have a survey form on summary you're giving to your customers. You might have an opt-in form for customers to download some information. You can test all of that and see if it's still what you want to communicate, all the messages, and is it still doing what it's supposed to do based on your marketing strategies. The example that I was going to share is really me shopping as a customer, and we are still in 2024, and me not receiving nurturing emails as a customer who is very eager to buy, and really surprised that this is an e-commerce store that my cart had about $500 worth of value in it, and I had a discount, which is great. There was a small discount, but I was distracted and I went away. I thought, okay, I'm sure I'm going to get something, an SMS, an email. It's going to come back. Obviously 2 days later, nothing happens. And then I thought, oh, I remember this brand. I was supposed to make this purchase. I wonder if my cart is still saved. Luckily it was saved. Then I remembered that I really don't need half of these items that I was about to buy. So your customer is now changing their mind, after 2 days. And I still haven't got any cart reminders. I'm still kind of waiting for them to remind me because I guess I know what to expect. I think, in today's day and age, we are all short on the attention span. We don't have the time and luxury of time anymore, even though the technology does help us. But we have so many things happening in our lives that just a small, short reminder, a quick reminder from a brand to come back and buy is like having a customer service representative calling the customer. So don't neglect that process. Don't neglect those steps in your business if you haven't got that set up at this stage.
Yeah, you may lose some customers that way if you don't send reminders. We normally find that sending reminders to people who don't open emails, for example, works. I mean, it increases your open rates, which actually increases your revenues as well. So may I ask, Jovana, did you end up buying? Did you end up going back to that store and finishing your purchase?
No, I have not. I still left it open for them to come back and see if I guess I'm testing it myself. I found an item somewhere else, and I bought something that was urgently needed. But this particular brand, I would have bought probably $500 worth of stuff if the timing was if it was there, a reminder at the right time when I was ready to buy. So that's important to know, especially for automations. Milena, you can share with us what we do, because we take this into account and then we go and review automations, existing automations for clients as well.
Yeah, because a lot of what we do is we set up these workflows and automations, all the abandoned carts, the welcome series, and we sometimes leave it to the brains to check and go back to review the copies, from time to time. But we tend to do it when we work with customers as well. If we have a long-term relationship with a customer, we'll go in and check all the emails and the flows are still set up. And I think this is a good reminder at the start of every year to do that, because a lot of small business owners are too busy. They don't have time to remember to go back to these flows and abandoned carts. Like in this case, like what you just said, what you just described is that particular brand didn't have an abandoned cart sequence implemented, and they are missing out on these revenues. So have you set up an abandoned cart in your business? That's one question I'm going to ask you in this show. So if you haven't, I suggest you do that. So I think it's a good reminder again to just go back to your flows, automations. Do you have any integrations? A lot of API integrations, like API kind of apps, like Facebook apps, and all the WooCommerce. If you're using WordPress, all those apps would have had their terms and conditions released. There could be new updates, and that could affect your integrations. We find that by working with other brands that this could happen. So just go and check the connections are still in place. And that could also affect your revenues. So again, when you're checking the automations and flows, go and check your integrations, API integrations that they're working.
And also the content, checking the content in those automations. I guess when you're testing your own customer journey, you will see all of those things. But, there's some things that are changing with content. We have seen customers use AI for content. Sometimes AI, when you use AI, the words are very common and cliche, with so many people using the same language across any industry. You should be testing this and seeing if it's something that you need to update and make it look like human wrote this.
Humanize your content now. You'll stand out because there's a lot of AI content out there, and just by humanizing your own content, you'll stand out. Yes, that's a good point. Like if you go back into these welcome series, abandoned sequences, just open emails, check the copy is still relevant, refresh your copy, change in any images if you have. Maybe you could update those images. Are the links still working? Have you mentioned any dates or anything like that need to be updated? And even if you just change the subject line, that could actually appear as fresh content to your subscribers. If you just go in and change your subject line.
And I know some people might be thinking, some listeners might be going, "Oh, is email still the the trendy thing that we should be talking about in 2024 and beyond?" Let's not mistaken that emails are still the biggest revenue generator for any marketing, any business that you have. So it could be service-based or e-commerce business. We see it across the board, across any channel. Email, yes, it's kind of like a old channel in the digital world, but it's still a very, very good at converting leads into customers. So let's not forget that.
Yeah, it did stand the test of time,
Yes, it proved itself. I know that I'm also receiving SMSs. There's a lot of SMSs, and we had a client ask us a question. Are they customers, or typically customers who receive SMSs, do they see it as a spammy? Because there's a lot of spam coming across with people, a lot of random, especially with transport or government type of agencies. You receive an SMS reminder to click a link, and you know that as soon as you click that link, it's going to be a bug or disaster infecting the phone. It's not good to click those links. And so there was one client who had a concern about whether they should be sharing links in SMSs. And if you've done, if you're in marketing and you're building a brand and you're building trust and familiarity with your brand and you're across all the channels, then your marketing has to come across authentically, which is what is the next thing that we're going to be talking about is the trends that are going to be dominating the 2024. And I believe the number one will be authenticity. And Milena, you read something about Google doing some things around authenticity.
When Google has updates for website, for type of content they wish to see available on their platform, they don't want to see all the rubbish or robotic content or AI content that doesn't have that, again, human element. So they now have a new algorithm. I forgot the name of it, but one of the key things of this algorithm is that Google is now going to check for authenticity. How authentic is your content? So what this would mean is, yes, if you have a website, if you write posts regularly, you might want to consider creating a social media, or posting more on social media, having a channel there like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, even doing some YouTube content, video content, somewhere else where people can find your brand and engage with your content, like share, comment, things like that. So that's going to be important for this year, having that authenticity or appearing authentic. Just want to use that word a lot because try to be, when we say authentic, be human, really. Do the opposite of what the AI is doing.
Definitely expect more robots to be unleashed online to make sure that we are all humans. How when you fill out a form on a website or something like that, it asks you, are you human? Make sure you verify yourself. So that's a bit of a flip side, that robots are asking us if we are human, which is quite funny.
We should ask it, are you human? And check.
Yes, answer my questions. I was opening an account for mom, our mother, because we are twins. So and we were opening actually one of the social media accounts, and the amount of questions that you had to go through to validate. And I failed 3 times. And I kind of like, what kind of logic are you asking me? It was so complicated. And I don't know how my 70-year-old mother will be able to understand what they're trying to do. All she wanted to do was just open an account. That's another friction in the sales process. I guess if you are in the SaaS industry or SaaS business, you need to be mindful around how you want to validate your customers. And the other thing I was going to say, AI is still going to be driving everything. I saw some interesting things happening with Zapier, which is a third-party app that connects different apps. And Zapier is still a leading integrator online, and they're doing some really cool things with AI, where you could certainly use like a ChatGPT functionality and ask Zapier to create a Zap based on already connected apps that you already have. So you just type it in and it generates the integration Zap. So somebody who is a skilled automation person will be able to save time, but I'm still worried about general people who are not familiar with these tech tools using these kind of AI tools to create complex integrations and automations. It's still a bit fuzzy for me to accept that. And the other thing that we're seeing with AI coming in, and a lot of platforms will start to adopt this, is something called conversational forms. Conversational forms, if you haven't seen, Typeform has just launched something where you just have a conversation and it creates a form. But it also, as a user of this form, you use it as a ChatGPT kind of form. So it's very interesting, new inventions in this space.
Yeah, I think the AI and chatbots, like using, how you have a Facebook Messenger on the website for customers or prospects to send you a message. You can automate that now. There's going to be a lot of AI involvement there with little chatbots. You could train the AI to just be your assistant for your store, just to be your personal assistant, so that it can help, prospects and customers if they have queries about your products and can't find certain things on your website. So AI is definitely going to be continuing or setting the trend this year. And a lot of business owners should not neglect this.
Yes, you must. Yeah, you must
in their
accept the changes that are happening. Embrace it. Embrace it is the
anything
word.
else?
Must accept, embrace it. The other thing I just saw this morning is ClickUp. We use ClickUp and it popped up with this new AI feature, which you just reminded me. It's almost like having a personal assistant in your ClickUp. So you should now be able to use your workflow or project management tools as having an assistant helping you find things around or creating documents or doing things. So, and I know another client of ours uses a lot of these tools instead of typing, she's using voice to instruct. And so in ChatGPT, you can do voice instruction. And I think maybe the future will be in the next few months that we'll see all of these applications instead of allowing us lazy people to to type our instructions. We can certainly talk and tell this tool to do something for us. But we don't have to say please and thank you.
We could also in the future use our mind. You could use our minds, Jovana. Now, as of this recording, isn't what Elon Musk just did that? He announced that there was a first Neuralink on one patient. They've embedded a Neuralink chip. So that could also be something way, way down the future that may be adopted by business owners too. I don't know. I can't think about this now. It's too big to think about it.
For us, yeah, we've been, in the 90s. It's like we progressed from having discovered the Hotmail. I think I still have my Hotmail account, my email address, using email, using the texting with Nokia phones. We are living in the future today. Great. So this is a great summary of what we need to do. So just to recap, the 4 things that we need to be mindful of for 2024. Make sure that your email settings are correct and speak to your website, hosting, domain providers, and your email marketing platforms to help you organize that. We can also help you, but I prefer that you actually go through all those other avenues because I always say it's easy, but sometimes it's not, depending on your setup. And then the customer journey, just reviewing your customer journey in your business. How do you want your customer to feel? Going through and interacting with your brand, interacting on your website, with your customer service, etc. How do you want them to be nurtured, and how do you want to convert more of those leads into customers through automation? And also be mindful of the trends, as we mentioned. A lot of things are happening at a very fast pace. Technology is moving very fast. If you stick with trusted sources, follow the trusted experts, you won't go wrong. And thank you so much, Milena, for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you, Jovana. I really enjoyed today. Thank you.